Every contractor
Whoa.
basically that we've hired for every job is like, I'm a solo worker. I got no team. I do it all myself. I'm like, nobody taught you how to hire. Like, you know how to do the stuff, but you're not like an entrepreneur in the way that like you are like handing off any of this and like running the business. You're just doing the job, which like good for you. You're doing good work. Start training people how to do just as good of a job as you, and you could expand your business so much.
Yes. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the KarWell Chronicles. It's been a minute since we've done it, the two of us.
It has been. It's been over a month.
Sorry.
Since we've done it, the two of us. I saw your wheels turning, and you almost called it the wrong name.
Literally every time. I'm like, I got anxious about it the first time that we renamed it, and then ever since then, now when I go to say it, I'm like, I'm going to screw this up.
I know. It's because, well, everybody will be like, oh my gosh, we are catching up with the KarWells. And so I was like, that name made sense, but I think KarWell Chronicles is cuter.
Yeah.
More on brand.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so we have a ton of drama to catch up on. I mean, it's never ending in our lives, but
actually,
so much good drama, so much bad drama. Like, let's start with your property because you know a lot of my drama, so you're going to be hearing it for a second time, but I don't know a lot of the drama that's going on in your property. So let's hear it.
Oh gosh. Well, I literally might start crying. It's so bad. Okay. So
therapy session.
As everybody knows, if you've listened to the previous episodes, we just got AC installed. We got the heating fixed. It took a month and a half and many guests canceled to get this done, right? Super excited to go. We hit the heat wave that's coming through Michigan.
After the extended winter.
Yeah. Like 2 weeks ago was the heat wave? Okay. So on my birthday, I get a text from my cleaner. Hey, we showed up. The house is leaking everywhere. Like it's leaking from a few vents where the AC comes out. There's like a beam going through the middle of my living room. And apparently there's like a tiny little crack on the beam and there's just water dripping out onto my leather couch. So my leather couch is stained, leaks coming from everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So I'm dealing with that on my birthday, like texting, trying to figure it out, getting my HVAC guy out there. And when I tell you this guy, you guys, he's fired. I've fired him since then. We are like not communicating with him. Tyler is the only one communicating with him at this point. But I like try to send somebody out there. They say that this is fixed. Basically, they said that the drain. So rewind, collect my thoughts. Okay. So my cleaner's cousin is up from Tennessee. I guess he moved up here and he is a general contractor, but he does HVAC work as well. And he was like, I'm happy to crawl up in your attic, like get an idea, at least give your guy an idea of what he's coming to fix before he comes. He's like, I'm happy to fix it, but like you obviously have somebody you work with. So he does that and he thinks that the drain pan line is clogged. And so we get somebody out there, apparently it gets unclogged, right? Whatever. So the HVAC guy leaves, my cleaner leaves close to an hour, 40 minutes to an hour after. My guests show up super late at night. We get messages the next morning. We showed up and the house was a mess. So where the towels and the buckets had been sitting for the leak coming down, because the cleaner was still there, I was under the assumption that she was going to clean. We were under the understanding that she was going to clean up after the leak had been fixed.
Yeah,
She
naturally.
did not do that.
She's like, I'm sure this is fine.
Yeah, she did not do that. So, and then I've talked about this before. Bunk beds are really hard to make, especially if you have like duvet covers. They're just annoying. And so I have given my cleaner the okay to neatly fold the duvet at the end of the bed.
Oh no.
And just like stage the pillows. You still have to put all the sheets there, just like neatly fold the duvet at the end of the bed and then fold the throw blanket that is for it and put it on top.
Yeah.
Apparently when the guests showed up, it's just thrown all willy-nilly. And maybe if that had just been the case, they wouldn't have assumed that they were dirty. But because there was dirty towels and bowls of water and everything else in the house, they assumed that the sheets were dirty. They got in at like 11 p.m. and they washed the sheets before going to bed. They washed the towels that were on the floor. They were pissed. So we wake up with a message. This is unacceptable. This is what we showed up to. We were super apologetic, obviously.
You're like, that's not what I expected either.
And these people traveled from Italy. So they were there for the World Championship Underwater Robotics competition from Italy. Why Alpina had the World Championship Underwater Robotics competition? No clue. But that's what they were there for. So they were very mad, and rightly so. I would be pretty pissed if that's what I showed up to as well. Yeah. And again, if they had just seen the blankets like not folded nicely, they probably would have been like, oh, whatever. They just like tossed them on here. It's still clean. But due to seeing everything else, they're like, this didn't get cleaned at all. Send the cleaner, whatever. So we think the leak is fixed. The AC is working fine. They're there for the whole week. The next guest checks in. AC is not working at all. And this is when it's
and
like...
the previous guest didn't mention that at all.
Didn't mention anything. So apparently it was working fine for them. I'm going to assume because they didn't say anything. The heat wave is like peak when this other guest checks in.
92.
Yeah. So we send somebody over from my HVAC team. The guy who's the cousin also looked at it. They're trying to fix everything. They say that it kicked on when they left. So they leave. Still not working. Like 3 days these people are going without AC working, and we're constantly sending somebody over, and I'm like asking for photos of the thermostats, doing whatever we possibly can. Not working. Finally, after many days of trying to communicate with my HVAC guy, Patrick, as everybody is well aware of his name at this point, he's like not responding to messages. He'll only respond to Tyler sometimes. He'll respond to me sometimes. He can't get his team out there. All the excuses in the world. We've just paid him $37,000 to get this thing installed in less than a month in. It's not working. Well, apparently one of his guys flipped a switch, and the problem was that the humidity was so high because of the switch that he flipped that the AC couldn't keep up. So it was running the whole time, just at a very low rate. And so my electric bill is going to be out of this world. But so finally they like figure that out. So they get the AC running again. And then the guest who hasn't had AC for a few days lets us know that there's a leak coming from the ceiling again. I'm like, okay, cool. And my guy is like, he's like, I can't get anybody out there. And he's like, he won't show up. He'll say he can't get anybody out there. We find another solution. We tell him not to go. And then he shows up without asking us with guests there. This is like a repeat thing that continues to happen. And he's like, hey, I'm at the house. I'm like, you can't be at the house. Leave. Literally. Like, we didn't get approval for you to be there. So Hunter, who's this cousin of my cleaner, he helps us fix the leak again. He's like, okay, I like sucked all the water out. We unclogged it. I think it's this switch, but I'm going to come back. So he came back the next day because we had maybe a couple days of a break in between. And I was like, let's block those days so we can like get this fixed. And mind you, I'm paying Hunter on top of this. So Hunter comes again and he sucks all the water out. He comes back and finds out that this switch, which basically acts like a sump pump every time the drain pan fills up, it's supposed to suck the water out, has never been attached. So like when they installed it, they never attached this cord
There's no power
to this switch. Yeah. So he does that. Water starts rushing out. Good to go, right? Nope. It's continuing to leak. All right, let's take a break from the episode to shout out one of our sponsors, Minoan. Are you running a short-term rental? You know how important it is to create a space that's both stunning and functional. That's why we love Minoan. Minoan makes it easy to furnish and restock your rental with high-quality, stylish pieces from premium brands at up to 60% off. Plus, their centralized ordering lets you check out across multiple brands in one seamless cart. No stress, no hassle. Excuse me, only having one place to look for my receipts when my bookkeeper inevitably asks for them? Thank you, Minoan. Then, turn guest praise into profit with the digital showroom where you can showcase your design expertise and allow your guests to shop their stay. And the best part, Minoan is free to use, so you can elevate your space without breaking the bank. We use Minoan ourselves, and trust us, it's a game changer. All right, let's get back to the episode. So we have another guest that checks in, and this guest checks in, and everything's fine for a couple days. The AC is working fine. Tyler had gone up there to make sure everything was clean. This guest, there's like some things that I agree with, some things I don't agree with. But now we're just like on third guest in a row having issues. So the leak starts like 3 days into their stay. Okay. It starts leaking again. Really annoying. Fully get that. They're like, it kept us up all night. It's so loud, blah, blah, blah.
A leak is loud?
Dude, I don't know. Well, they also, so like my cleaner cleans the filter for the hot tub and then we flip it once a month and all the things. Well, she forgot to reset the filter notification on the hot tub. So the guest thinks that the filter hasn't been changed. The water is perfectly clear, but like when she pulls the filter up, there's like a little bit in it because it's doing its job. But they're mad about it.
They're mad about the filter being dirty.
They're mad about the filter being dirty. So they switched.
Don't look at my filters. What?
They switched the filter themselves. They like went in the garage and like dug through the stuff and found a filter. Switched the filter themselves. They're saying that that's an issue. They're saying that their clothes came out smelling like mildew from our washer and dryer, which I was like, do your sheets smell like mildew? Because they are also washed in that washer and dryer.
Yeah. Did you leave your clothes in there overnight?
Yeah, but they were like upset about that, and they're saying that they have multiple maintenance issues. And because of the leak ruining their whole weekend, they asked for a refund. So we have now refunded 3 guests in a row.
In high season? In
high season. And on top of that, I'm paying somebody who I should be getting it for free because the guy installed it less than a month ago, but he's like not reliable. So we blocked days specifically because he said he was coming. So the one guest checked out on Monday and he was like, I will be in there as soon as they check out. Didn't show up. And so we finally call Hunter, the other guy, and he goes and he does the thing. And then he comes back the next day to like do another thing to fix it. Obviously it didn't fully fix it because the next guest also had this issue, but like he's working with what information he has. And then 3 days later, the day that the new guest is checking in, my HVAC guy texts me and he goes, hey, I'm going to go to the house today. I said, do not go to my house today. I said, we have a guest checking in. Hunter is already taking care of it. Do not show up at my house. This man texted me today and he goes, Emily Carnes, how goes it? Sarah, when I tell you I want to lose it on this man. And I was like, did I miss something? Like I went and looked at his reviews. He has like overall great reviews. There's a couple like people that don't like him overall, but I'm like, did I miss something? Or does he just like not care about this job at all?
Yeah.
But I'm so beyond irritated. And in the middle of all of this going on, like I was like in the middle of the mall one day, like getting phone calls constantly from Patrick. And I just started crying in the middle of the mall because I was so overwhelmed. And Tyler goes, I have asked him to stop contacting you. Like I have repeatedly asked him to only communicate with me, that I am taking care of this issue now, that he needs to not bother you about it. And then Tyler messaged him one day and said, I am really disappointed in your lack of communication. There needs to be a solution to this immediately, and you need to call me and not contact Emily. And because Tyler was stern with him, Patrick calls me and leaves me a voicemail. I got this message from Tyler. I don't know why it's our fault. We need to find this solution. I was like, sir.
What a little bitch.
If you think you're pitting me and my husband against each other, you have got another thing coming.
Ew.
Ew. And then again, Tyler tells him again, do not communicate with Emily anymore. It is me. I am taking care of this because this guy just like thinks I'm an idiot. Yeah. Apparently. Yeah. Like no matter how many times I tell him not to do something, no matter how many times like we try to figure it out, he just doesn't think that I understand what's going on. Yeah. So the second Tyler gets stern with him, he comes to me thinking that I'm going to be a little bit of a pushover. And I was like, don't go to that house. Yeah. Do not talk to me. So when he texted me today, I just screenshotted it and sent it to Tyler. Tyler immediately texted me, I'll call him. I said, yes, Tyler. Yes, you will. I don't know. Like I can like do the whole women empowerment. I'm going to push for this. You're going to take me seriously thing to a certain point. And finally I'm like, I need a man to come in and like tell this guy how it is.
Yes. Yeah. I am so on that train right now. I have been on the like female empowerment, I'm a boss babe thing for years, and I'm off that soapbox. I'm fully off it.
Please come in and take over this for me. I'm sick of it because it truly doesn't matter what I do. This guy is just never going to take me seriously.
Yeah.
And so I just can't. And the one day when he was going to show up and he was like, okay, we're going to the house. He goes, yeah, I had an emergency out of town. Communication, great.
One text.
Yeah, one text saying, hey, I can't make it, send Hunter. Because I asked him, I was like, if you can't go, I have a backup. But you're the one who installed it. Your labor is free because we're still under warranty. No information at all. I've now paid Hunter $1,000.
I would send this guy Hunter's bill.
That's what Tyler said he wants to do. And he wants to send him the bill for our couch.
Yeah. Yes.
This couch is $3,000.
Good. Good.
I just don't. Yeah. I'm
going to start burying you. Dude. And like, you're going to fix this because it's going to cost you way more if you don't. Like,
I know. I am all about that. Like, I fully believe all of that. And part of me really wants to do that because spoiler alert, we're planning on selling the house. We're going to list it in the fall anyways. I'm just like done, and I really want to focus on the coffee shop and just not even have this stuff to think about all day long or all week long. Every time I've been upset, I'm like, oh yeah, because my coffee shop's gonna have no problems. I'm like,
doesn't matter. It's
it'll
like
be
makes you feel
different
better.
problems, but like they'll be down the street instead of 4 hours away, and like it's just whatever. Every business is gonna have problems, but
at least it's problems you're excited about and not drained by.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But this guy, the reason that I like feel some type of way about ripping into him is per his last name, he like owns the town.
Yeah. Politics.
And he knows everybody who's like works on our house. He knows who sold us our hot tub. His nephew sold us our hot tub. Like he knows everybody. And so I have to make it through until my house sells. And he probably is related to the real estate agents, like
and the buyer. Probably.
And the buyer. Yeah. So I have to like walk a fine line here, but Tyler is ready to burn this guy to the ground.
I don't know. I will say, like, the whole female empowerment, like, I do think that there is so much strategy as a female entrepreneur in leveraging the men in your orbit.
In the situations that you really need, like, just to get it done.
Yeah. I watched yesterday, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but I watched the Call Her Alex 2-part docuseries of Alex.
Oh, yeah,
from
I
Call
haven't
Her
watched
Daddy.
it yet.
So good. It's so good. But she was talking a little bit about that in the show, about how, like, if people need to get in line, she'll send her husband to like deliver that news because people will see him as like someone who's, I know.
I like for so long, and I so badly wanted to be seen as like this in charge woman. And I do feel that way to a certain extent, but I'm also like, I want my husband to like take charge in those situations once in a while. And he's like, I got this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so attractive.
It's very attractive.
It's so attractive. I have just taken my foot off the gas in so many areas where I've just been like, no, like such a diva. Like I'm usually the one that's like, I'll pull up my bootstraps and like, I'll figure it out and like, let me handle it. And like just overly independent. You can't help me. I don't need you, yada, yada. And there have been so many occasions this year where I have just been like, what if I didn't? Like, I know the answer, but what if I didn't?
Yeah.
And I just keep my mouth shut and it gets handled.
Mm-hmm. Amazing how that works.
I'm a quiet princess. Yes. I just learned to shut up. It'd be so much less work for me.
I know. So we're working through that. It's still an existing issue right now.
Yeah.
Like today I had Hunter, because he goes when my cleaner cleans. And I was like, I need you to completely shut off the system and reinstall the window units, because through the 4th of July, like I am not having my 4th of July guest deal with something leaking.
Can't.
And so we turned it off. We're just having to tell them like, you can't touch the thermostats, because if you touch the thermostats, it'll start leaking again. The window units will cool the house enough. It's what we had last summer, so it's fine. And then I just had them block there was like 3 days open next week, and that's all we have open until August something.
Yeah.
So I was like, block it. He ordered a part. We'll be able to install the part and then wait a couple of days and let it run and go back and see if there's a leak. And then we'll see what happens from there. But I'm like, I got to fix it if I want to sell the house anyways.
Yeah. Has it destroyed any of your drywall up on the ceiling from it leaking?
Not from what I can tell or what I've been told. But I don't know. Like Tyler said, everything looked fine when he was there.
Yeah, that's good.
But you don't know what the inside looks like. And
of
course, my parents are like, did they insulate the ducts? Is it just condensation? Is it this? Is it that? And I'm like, beats me. I'm trusting the experts.
Yeah, I'm not an HVAC guy.
What they're telling me. And like, this guy Hunter is so nice.
Good.
He's so nice, and he's willing to do literally whatever. And he calls me ma'am.
Is he from the South?
Yes. He's from Kentucky or Tennessee or something like that.
Yeah.
He's very, very nice, and he's like willing to do whatever. And I'm like happy to give him business now that he's moved up here and he's like trying to get work. I'm like, please do all the things.
Literally all of it.
But we went from like the cleaner situation, her not cleaning up. It was like a big deal. Like I was talking to Fede. I was like, we got to like figure something out.
Did you fire her? No, you kept her.
Well, she's Hunter's cousin and I need Hunter. Yeah. And I was like, okay, we're going to like give her the benefit of the doubt. We're riding through this summer anyways. And then we're listing it. So let's just move on. She's done a good job since then. Every time that Hunter's gone, she's gone and like helped clean up from the leak. Yeah. Like she's done a good job since then. She claims it was a miscommunication. I don't think it was, but we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that and move on. I just like, and I know it's literally, it's like not, it's just a house and it's not that big of a deal, but the thought of ruining somebody's experience literally puts a pit in my stomach.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, same.
And so I'm like, I just feel so bad. I'm like, refund them whatever. And I just feel horrible about it.
I don't feel that bad. I'm like, refund them the least amount possible.
I mean, we haven't like refunded them insane amounts, but like we've refunded people and I just feel so bad. Like the group that didn't have AC for 3 days, it was like these teenage boys, maybe not teenagers, maybe like 20, 21. I can't tell anymore. I'm getting old. But they were super nice and they're like, we're sorry to be needy. Like we don't want to be bothering you too much. I'm like, it's a heat wave and you have no AC. Like please keep bothering us about this if it's not actually working. Because every time I would send Patrick and his team, they were like, it's working. Like we don't know. We can hear it kick on. And I'm like,
swear they stay for 45 seconds.
45 seconds. You can see it on the cameras.
Every time.
And I'm like, when they're like, yeah, the leak is fixed. I'm like, are you staying long enough
to
see if the water's continuing to come down?
Take a smoke break. Come back in. Like, I need you here for at least 10 minutes.
And also the guy who like flipped off the switch and then didn't flip it back. And that was the issue. I'm like, are you going to pay me the money that I had to refund these guys because they didn't have AC?
Yeah. Are you going to refund me for your trip charge that you came out here and you didn't do a complete job?
Oh, he hasn't. Patrick has been smart enough not to send me a bill for the couple times that he has sent somebody over there because I would rage.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah.
So
out of all the GCs that we worked with on this last project, our HVAC guy came out the gate seemingly the best, right? Like when we hired him, we had a couple of guys come and like he was, we'll have this done in 2 days. We're not doing mini splits. We're doing central air. It's going to cost you the same amount, all this stuff. Like just handled it.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that was out there on photo day, like still fixing things from his work. Yeah. And I'm just like, what was that? It was supposed to be 2 days. And yet you took all 4 months to do your job.
Oh, literally Patrick took a month and a half and still it's not completed. It's not
working efficiently.
Yeah, it's not working correctly. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then so Patrick is adamant that the downstairs thermostat has to be for heat only and the upstairs thermostat has to be for AC only. He's like, it has to be on separate ones. They have to be at these temperatures because if they're at different temperatures, they'll like work against each other. Hunter goes, I can hook them up to both systems and it can be heating and cooling on both.
Yeah, you hired the wrong guy for sure.
He has been in business forever in this community. And I'm like, do you guys have no better options or is it just his last name that's getting you this business?
Both.
It's crazy to me.
That's why I'm so like on this buying boring businesses thing because I'm just like all the businesses that we hire to run these B&Bs and install them, I'm like trash.
So bad. The other HVAC company that's in Alpena never like returns your phone calls.
Nope. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Even people can listen to this and hopefully Hot Tub Cody doesn't listen to it, but but I've tried to like connect with Hot Tub Cody, right? Because I'm like so gung-ho about maybe buying a pool and spa company because we understand them, it's already in our world, the whole 9 yards. And he's in Traverse City, right? Which is 45 minutes from Cadillac, and I need a pool open and I need a hot tub maintained, and we're in the market for a whole new person to maintain them ongoing, to like consistently be on our payroll. And I called probably 3 pool and spa companies, maybe 4. And all of them except for his got back to me within the first 24 hours. And by the time he got back to me, I had already found someone, had it opened, had them come back out and clean and fix the hot tub lid. Like, and I just was like, this is how I know that service-based businesses are way overwhelmed.
Yeah. I think that some people are just so busy that they like don't want the jobs.
Yeah.
Like, for the tiny home stuff, I was reaching out to the local electric company in Grant. And literally not one single time did they call me back. And every person I reached out to for a different recommendation recommended them. And I was like, guys, y'all got to stop recommending these guys. Not because they're bad. They can't take anymore, clearly. They are literally not even answering the phone nor responding to messages. They're busy.
Man, it's just like, I wish that we could plug in with a business like that has way too much work to just be like, okay, we're your full-time hiring and operations team because you know how to do the work. I don't know a thing about electrical work.
And they clearly do a good job if that many people are recommending them.
Yeah, like let us be your customer service and SOP team and marketing.
Yeah.
Let me get on Instagram and scream you from the mountaintops. Like, you think you're busy now. But yeah, it's so underserviced. Like finding people to come out and work on your house in any capacity, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, drywall, it doesn't matter. They're hard to come by, and quality is even harder.
Yeah. Now my entire team for my house lives an hour away. I'm like, that's not a quick fix for anything, but they're the only people who respond and get it done correctly.
When I was calling around for pool and spas before I had tried to call Hot Tub Cody, I called someone in Big Rapids, which is same distance from Cadillac as Traverse City is, right? So I'm looking for someone to drive 45 minutes to an hour to like service this pool. And he was like, look, we're about 3 weeks out. And I was like, that's past 4th of July. Like, we're probably going to have this property up and running end of June. Like, I really need someone out there now. I was like, I see that, you charge $600 or whatever it was to open up the pool and the hot tub. I was like, if I pay you double, can you come this week? And he was like, no, we just don't have the bodies. Like, we literally can't. He's
not
like,
even willing to drop another job to get double.
I know. I was like, I can't even offer you literally double, and you're too busy. Like, that's
crazy.
I'm just so hell bent on it right now. Where I'm like, that's where the money's at. Like, these men, even the pool guy, he was like, man, I really need to bring on more people, but I'm 65 years old and I'm ready to retire, but I can't retire because I've got so many people that need pool and spa service, and there's no one to hand over my book and like all of this stuff. And I'm like, whoa.
Every contractor basically that we've hired for every job is like, I'm a solo worker. I got no team. I do it all myself. I'm like, nobody taught you how to hire. Like, you know how to do the stuff, but you're not like an entrepreneur in the way that like you are like handing off any of this and like running the business. You're just doing the job, which like good for you. You're doing good work. Start training people how to do just as good of a job as you, and you could expand your business so much.
Yes. Hand off the back end work, hand off the communication. Yeah. Yeah. It's so underutilized. It is. Yeah. That's the market to get into, is buying these little tiny service-based boring businesses.
It is. Yeah.
They need help. SOS. No quality there.
I know. In the small towns specifically. I only have one other update, and it's a tiny home update.
Let's hear it.
Well, no, sorry, not a tiny home update, a coffee shop update.
Okay,
so I reached out to the real estate agent for the building that I'm looking at, found out a few different things, but I called the city to find out, like, what are the processes here? And I want, for those of you that haven't heard me tell this story, there's a parking lot that an old Rite Aid used to be in Grant. It's now shut down. There's a parking lot behind it. I want the parking lot along with the building that I'm buying, because I want it to be like where the cars drive through. There's literally like 3 parking spots for the building that I'm looking to buy. And there's a tenant that lives upstairs. So there's really 2 parking spots that are available.
Not enough for a coffee shop.
Not enough for a coffee shop, and not enough for how popular I want my coffee shop to be.
Yeah.
So I call the city, and first of all, very open to new businesses. Really excited about the concept of a coffee shop. Grant. Yeah. Very, very excited. I was talking to my dad about it. Apparently, they just don't like new builds is like a thing. That's the message. So like if you're looking to buy an existing building, apparently they're pretty open to it. But
really, our downtown looks like crap.
Yeah. I know. That's why like everybody's like, Emily, this building is like falling apart. And I was like, yeah, I know. I want to like rejuvenate the community. That's part of the reason why I want this building that's falling apart.
Okay.
But so I find out that a developer out of Farmington Hills, Michigan has purchased Rite Aid, the parking lot, and the lot next to it, and listed it for like $1 million.
Okay.
And I was like, who's buying that?
Yeah.
In the city of Grant from a business that went out of business. Like you're trying to sell something that like didn't get enough traction to
and $1 million downtown Grant. Shut up.
My mom was telling me, because that empty lot that's like right next to Rite Aid, apparently years and years ago it was a gas station.
Okay.
And so there's the tanks underneath, and so there's like limits on what you can build on top of it.
Of course.
And so it's like hard to sell that land because there's only like so many things that
you're not putting
it can be made into. So I'm like, you're crazy for listing that for $1 million. But I was like, okay, can I like maybe buy just the back half of the parking lot, and then we have an easement between so that like I can have the drive through. But then also the railroad owns 50 feet on either side of the railroad tracks, and that would bump into where my drive through would be. So I would have to get an easement from them as well, which is what Rite Aid did when they put in their drive through. But so there's a little bits of progress being made, but the person I talked to on the phone, they were like, if this building doesn't work out, we're going to find you a building in Grant to make your coffee shop happen, because we really want this here. And I was like, thank you. I really want it here too.
Is there, because the building, I guess I'd be curious to see what the current existing building square footage is, or if you could like shrink the square footage of the building to make more room for the
downstairs
drive-through.
is like 2,800 square feet or something like that.
Oh, a decent size. Okay.
Yeah, it's big. But the upstairs is already small, and you would have to like shrink the
You'd have to get rid of your
apartment.
tenant.
Yeah.
It would have to be like your storage or something.
I want the apartment up there. Like I'm planning on renovating that. And honestly, the apartment doesn't go the full length of the building. And so I think that I can make the apartment bigger.
Oh, okay.
And then increase the rent. And then I want to add the drive-through and everything. So I don't know. I'm like willing to, I mean, the railroad was willing to do the easement for Rite Aid. So I don't see why they wouldn't be willing to do the easement for that. But I need to actually get physically into the building.
Yeah.
And have the time to, you know, put together my business plan and figure out how much everything's going to cost and go to the bank and get all of that money.
Yeah. Banker investors.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you'll end up going investor route than bank route because banks take forever.
We'll see. I mean, if I would like wanted to just buy the building outright, but obviously that might not be the thing. But like in total, I would need like $600,000 or something like that to buy it and renovate it to the extent that I would want to.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, we know a few private money lenders.
We do. So we'll see.
Well, good for you. That's exciting though that you're making some progress. I mean,
I'm trying.
I'm so curious for the developer who bought it, like if they have a tenant in mind, you know? Because they would have to like value it based on what the revenue could be from whatever they assume is going in there. Like it would be crazy for them to like buy that piece of land, all three together without having any like direction on who they want to go in.
I'm a little nervous to call because they gave me his contact information so I could call and talk to him about it. But I'm nervous because so the building I want is for sale. The building next to it's for sale. And then there's like one business that's still in that little strip. And then the end building is also for sale.
Oh, no.
And I'm scared that if he finds out that they're all for sale, he's going to buy them.
Yeah. Well.
And so I'm like, how do I have that conversation without letting him know what I'm trying to do?
Yeah. But also it's like, how set are you on owning the building versus renting it?
I'm not going to do all those renovations and increase the value of that building without owning it.
Yeah.
I refuse.
Yeah.
It's like a significant increase that I would put into it.
Yeah.
And
but sometimes the landlords will take that off of your rent. Like if you're going to make it beautiful, like if it, as long as it's, I mean, we saw this when we were doing like tenant finish outs for like home goods and whatnot. It's like, the renovations that any tenant would need going forward, they would reduce that in their rent or, you know, their lease or whatever it was. But if it was like specific to the coffee shop, like I'm investing in coffee machines, they're like, no, we're not paying for that.
Yeah. The current owner is willing to lease it as well. But they want to lease both buildings together. And I don't want the restaurant.
Yeah.
And also, again, I was like, I'm not about to like put all this money into this building and then not own it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel some type of way about that because I think that the building needs significant renovations just to like make it structurally sound again.
Yeah. But then you're dealing with an old building, just like your old house. Whereas if you had a landlord, you're like, the water heater's out, it's here to like fix it.
Yeah.
Here's the bill. I'll coordinate it. But
yeah.
I'm adding 10% onto this bill for the time.
I'm learning a lot though, so I can like probably do it now. It's just
yeah. Ew, all of that I hate. I'm so glad Ethan doesn't mind it because when it comes to like calling anyone to coordinate anything, if it requires follow up, I'm not your girl.
Yeah.
Literally just not it.
Yeah. Well, those are my updates.
Incredible. Well, I'm so sorry property is being such a pain in the butt.
It's the actual worst. It makes me hate it.
Yeah.
I like, once I go up there, I'm going to love it again. My family and I are going to like take a little few day trip in the fall because like my siblings have never seen it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to love it again the second I'm up there.
Yeah.
But right now,
get nostalgic.
I hate it.
I hope you love it. I tell you what, going back to Orange Cadillac this week, I was like, nope, still hate it.
Yeah, but I lived in mine.
Yeah.
Like I have so
true.
many memories there. I found out I was pregnant in that house.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And my eyes are watery today. Well, I have my fair share of drama to catch up on.
Yay.
What are we at on time here? Are we like...
I have no idea.
I don't either. It doesn't
I
matter.
haven't paid attention. There's usually a clock behind you and there isn't. So
it doesn't matter.
Okay. We're at 30 something minutes.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I have no shortage of drama. I feel like Instagram has seen plenty of me being like, in another life, I was a lawyer. Because I'd be fighting these hoes out here.
Yes.
We're just fist fighting at this point. Gloves are off. And I really enjoyed it, to be honest. More
Good
than I
for you.
probably should have.
I want to like sink into the bushes like Homer Simpson or whatever. Like I want to disappear and you're like
Let
I'm
me
gonna
be a
take
diva.
I'm like, no, I don't want to. I just want to be done.
Yeah. I want to talk about Jim first before we get an orange Cadillac.
Are we allowed to talk about Jim?
I'm talking about Jim. I'm at a point with Jim where I'm like, I don't care how it turns out. I just have nothing to lose, I just am like, you know what? The cards are going to fall as they may. And the judge who ends up deciding on this is not going to watch this podcast. So
Maybe,
which in that case, I think that she'll like me more. It's a she also, which I love.
Oh, love that.
Yeah. And the judge that's handling it is new. Thank God.
Okay.
I'm like not part of the old boys club that Jim is a part of. And Jim's been in and out of dealing with this county and judge and everything for years. It's true.
It's not the first lawsuit that Jim has been a part of.
Yes. So I'm hoping that having her listen to this entire thing, she'll be like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Cross my fingers. But so we had mediation 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now. And I have never gone through mediation. I had no idea what to expect. And the lawyer that the title company has connected us with, because of course the title company has picked up the bill. Well, up until now, the title company is not picking up the bill from here on out. But
oh no,
it should be fine. The lawyer that they connected us with, he has been like very. I don't even know how to describe him, and I wish that the listeners had context. But he's very Jonathan-esque.
Oh, okay.
So he's like messy, shows up late, like kind of is frazzled. And then when it comes to like it being game time, he like handles it.
Turns it on and everything's like
fine.
Your drinks are ready for you when you get to breakfast kind of a thing.
Yes. Where I'm like starting like, I don't trust you further than I could throw you. And by the end of it, I'm like, okay, you showed up. Got it. Okay. I was wrong. Like I'll eat that. And so he shows up to mediation 15 minutes late. Everyone else in the room is like no younger than 75. Except for us. And so I'm like, oh my God, we just seem like the twerps coming in here that are like young kids who don't know a thing about a thing, who are like hanging out with all these old people who know each other. Like the mediator knows Jim's lawyer, who knows Jim, who knows Jim's dad. It is the good old boys club, and then our lawyer from Lansing, and then me and Ethan. And so I had no idea what to expect about mediation. But the first thing that this guy, the mediator, comes out and says, and this is like before we get into the room and everybody's like hanging out, he looks at me and he's like, you wouldn't happen to be the girl that's like got all this drama in the city of Cadillac, would you?
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, yes, sir.
That is me.
Thanks. That is me. And he was like, wow. He was like, I got to say, I've been following that. He's like, we've been talking about it quite a bit in Lansing. And I'm like, oh my God, it's gone all the way up to the state level. Like, great. I'm really glad that our state representatives are involved in my drama. Like, kill me. And he was like, but I've got to say, he's like, I did not think you had a chance dealing with that city. He was like, and everybody's pretty impressed. He was like, so I wish you the same luck here. And I was like, well, that's what we're hoping for too. So I was like,
at least the people in Cadillac are like some level of sane.
Yes.
Though.
Yes.
I can't say the same about Jim.
The thing with Jim, I will say, and if Jim's watching this, I wouldn't be surprised because I know that they're watching my social media. So hi, Jim, if you're listening. But I will say he's a fair player. Like he's not out there like harassing our guests or like showing up on our property unannounced or like anything like that. I feel like he just wants something that we don't want, and we're handling this in the most fair, judicial way possible. Like I just am not... Like, Jim doesn't make me nervous or anxious. It's just like what's going to be is going to be, and somebody else is going to have to determine it because we're not going to agree on it.
That's fair. That's fair. That is a good point to make.
Yeah. So it's like reasonable disagreement. And I have enjoyed that through and through. Like I don't agree with what he wants, but like he doesn't agree with what I want. And that's totally fair. And so they we're in this room together. And like Jim goes through, why he feels like X, Y, and Z, he should have his way. And it flips over to our lawyer, and our lawyer says like 2 or 3 things. He's like, this is basically going to come down to like an equity situation. Like, is this right or is this wrong? There isn't really any like law that says it is or it isn't. This is really going to be a matter of opinion from the judge's perspective. And the mediator was like, I don't know if I agree with that. And Jim's lawyer comes in, and Jim's like, I do agree with his. Like, we both understand the nuances of this, and it is not a clear-cut answer. It could go either way. We're trying to find a solution for both people. And so then they put us in separate rooms. And the second we got into separate rooms, the mediator came into both rooms. And he's just like, look, I'm not allowed to say anything that you say in this room unless you tell me I can say it. I am just here to deliver your offer to Jim, and I'm here to deliver Jim's offer to you. And so like, we're going to go back and forth for the next few hours, and you're going to write down what your offer is, and he's going to write down what his, and you both are going to piss each other off. And we're going to see if we can come to an agreement.
What was it that somebody said? Compromise means both people hate it.
Yes. Yes. A win, a legal win is when both parties hate it.
Okay.
And so I went in with that mentality. I just like Ethan and I had several conversations about like, okay, like what would it take for us to not see this all the way through? Because obviously, like if we see it all the way through in September, November, whenever we go in front of a judge, the judge is either going to say like, per Jim, you running a campground and you being like a portion of your campground being zoned the same way as Sarah's property, they're going to say like, sorry, Jim, like if she shuts down, you have to shut down 30% of your campground. Or they're going to say like, sorry, or we see that Sarah can continue running, you can continue operating yours, and then we can operate it forever. And so it's like taking it all the way, someone really loses and someone really wins. And so do we want that? Like, is Jim willing to risk us being able to run it forever? And we're willing to shut it down at the end of this year. I'm absolutely going to take this all the way. Like, I'm going to be hard pressed to negotiate through this. And so essentially we went back and forth, and Jim was just really hung up on wanting us to shut down at the end of the year, which like we have no motivation to say yes to now because we're like, the judge is going to decide that. Like, we're going to make it to the end of the year no matter what. Like, period, end of story, no negotiating. Like, if we just don't even have a conversation today about settling, we're making it through November. And then if the judge says no, like, then we'll sell. But, like, I'm not going to agree to all of this and shut down in November without the judge telling me I have to. And I feel like that's what Jim missed, because Jim just kept, like, anything that we would throw at him, like, we'll shut down in 3 years and acknowledge the deed restriction so nobody can short-term rent it again. And he'd be like, no, I want it at a year. Like, I want you to be done this year. And so finally, I was like, okay, they always say this in real estate, like, your price, my terms. I was like, I will say yes to shutting down at the end of the year, but you're going to pay me $40,000. And so the mediator, I said that to the mediator, and he started laughing, and he's like, you don't mess around when it comes to negotiating, do you? And I was like, no. I was like, I know what I want. I know how this is going to play out. Like, and I'm not going to shut down early unless he's willing to pay me. Like, there's no advantage for me to shut down early unless he's paying me. And so he's like, I'm going to take this over to him, but he's literally going to lose his marbles. And I was like, have fun delivering the news.
Not my job.
Yeah. Record it for me, will you?
Yeah.
Love to see Jim lose his shit. Like, incredible. And so he came back, the mediator comes back after having to present that deal, and he's like, Jim walked out. I was like, oh, okay, great.
I guess we'll see him in November.
Yeah. But he was like, he's like, I will say, I think that Jim realized that this isn't as clear cut of a case as he thought it would, or was when he walked in here. He was like, he was non-negotiable in walking in here and just was absolutely certain that you guys were going to get shut down at the end of the year per the judge's orders. He was like, and between your lawyer's argument and his lawyer's argument, I think everyone got Jim to see today that there is just as likely of a shot that you get this as, you don't. And he was like, so we'll see if you get a phone call from Jim between now and then. He was like, but next steps is Jim is going to have to like proceed with pushing this to stand in front of a judge, and he hasn't done that yet either. It's been 2 weeks. So
how long does he have to do that? Is there like a timeline, or is it until November?
I think it's maybe 28 days or something like that.
Ooh.
So
he'll do it on the 28th day
probably, which I'm like, take as long as you want. Like, we're going to continue operating while you're handling this. So the one thing that I didn't say to him that is semi-ironic, if he is listening to this, I was like, I told the mediator to deliver this news, so maybe he already knows, maybe he doesn't, but as you know, like the lake is Hatfields and McCoys. Like, half the lake hates the other half, and like Jim's family owned one half, the other family owned the other half, and so the other family has been overly communicative with us through this whole entire process because they've obviously been in lawsuits with Jim as well. And he's like, I tell you what, he's like, if you do sell it, let me know. He's like, I want the whole lake at some point in time. So if Jim does end up getting his way and we have to sell, it's going to his arch enemy, which
slowly just chipping away.
I'm like, I got nothing to lose on this. Like, take it. Like, literally take it. We've made great money on it. We'll sell it for a profit. It's a good house, and we've already got a buyer who wants it off market and has the money to pay for it because we've seen all their houses on the other side of the lake. So,
nice.
Whatever.
Okay.
But let it be.
Let it be.
So I'm so excited to see how that one turns out. It's just good practice. It's good experience. It's been really nice understanding how this whole entire process works. We found out about this the first week of January in 2024, so we're a year and a half into this, and
feels like that much time has passed already.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. We found out the first week of January, 2024, that Orange, Cadillac, Bitely, and Big Rapids were all like having issues all in the same week.
I was thinking about how fast time has passed because I don't know why, like, the trip to Nashville in last November, like, is stuck in my head. But I was like, that wasn't that long ago. And then I'm like, it's already approaching November.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, time is flying.
It's going very fast.
Yeah, it really is. But who knows? We'll see how that cookie crumbles. But we made it through.
Yeah.
The mediation, at least. And it felt like a win just by adjusting his perspective on the situation. We sold, let's see, what other drama do we have? We sold Bitely, the first property we ever purchased. We sold it for the price that we wanted. We walked away, I think, with $130,000 that went in our pocket.
Nice.
Which was really great. And we didn't sell it as a short-term rental because the regulations changed.
That's really like giving me a lot of hope for selling my house.
Yes. Oh, I mean, it just was a no-brainer. Like, I'm sure you'll experience this once you list it as well, but you'll look at like all the other listed homes.
I know. Well, I've been doing that. So like I've been watching the market and like what's selling and what it's selling for and houses that are also on channels. And they're all maybe like some of them are maybe a little bit bigger, but they're all so dated.
Yep.
They're so old and dated and never been updated. And I was talking to Aubrey about this today on the webinar about like where the market is. And I was like, because we're thinking about like renovating a bathroom, making it a little bit bigger, renovating the laundry area, just making things like slightly nicer, even more. But she was like, honestly, the things that you've done are the things that people are looking for. So like, don't even touch that other stuff. Somebody who buys it can go and do that if they want it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. But yeah, I've been looking at every other house on the market and I'm like,
yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like selling Bitely, I just feel like I had a little bit of a mindset shift, which it makes total sense. But the properties that we're purchasing for B&Bs are predominantly second homes otherwise, right? They're not people's primary homes typically because they're waterfront, they're up north, they're out in the middle of nowhere. Like it just is people's summer homes. And so for people to be able to not have to spend a couple of summers prepping their summer home and to be able to literally move in the day that they close on the property and start enjoying it, like that is such a luxurious experience when it comes to buying a second home. And so like when we sold Bitely, they didn't disconnect the cameras right away, the Ring cameras from our account. And so the day that we sold it, Ethan was like, I wonder if they're already there. Like we signed papers an hour ago. It has been theirs for less than 60 minutes. And we looked in the camera and they're already at the lake.
Oh, that's so fun.
And I'm like, how incredible is it that they get to show up with their luggage from Chicago or wherever they're from, and the beds are made, the sheets are clean, the house has all the cleaning supplies and the candies. I was going to say, did you leave all the supplies
and the supply closet was full?
Everything.
Nice.
We did not clean out a single thing other than the guest book, just so I could like keep the reviews. And the memories from that house. But yeah, they took it as is. Like I even wanted to keep the nice pillows because I had just spent like $1,500 3 months prior on a bunch of nice new foam and feather pillows because the other ones were 3 years old and they just had been worn. And when they had toured the house, they had like stayed there for several hours and I guess they felt the pillows. And so Aubrey like put in there like, we're going to take the pillows. And they're like, please don't. And I was like, oh my God, if we're going to argue over $1,000 worth of pillows, like keep them.
Yeah, you can have them.
Like totally keep them. So yeah, I'm sure your property will. I mean, anyone who has, they get a design for free. Like they would have to pay an interior designer $30,000 to do what you did to that property or what I did to our properties. Like it's so much value built in just by it being aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah, our house looks so different than every other house.
Yeah.
That's there.
So cozy.
Yep.
Yeah, give it time. It'll go quick. I mean, ours went in like literally under a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You'll be
that's so
fine.
Nice.
And I'm like, we're in the market right now for buying a lake house because now we've got a 1031 it. And oh my God, they all look like crap. They all look like crap. I'm like, jeez, they all look like crap and they're all like $450,000.
Literally,
like,
some of them are like $500,000 up in Alpena, and I'm like, they look worse than my house did when I bought it.
Literally, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the market does in the next couple of years because I'm like, there has to be a correction. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. My last piece of drama is huge win. I'm sure a lot of you have seen, maybe I posted one post online and then I was like, I'm done talking about it because it's been my whole personality for the last 2.5 years. But we got the permit for Orange Cadillac.
Yes.
I
feel like even if you don't end up with that house, you get to leave it feeling like it was such a win.
Such a win.
Yeah.
It was such a win. I will say, I mean, everyone told me that the last meeting was going to be a breeze. Because the planning commission likes me, or most of them like me. And it was still quite an argument. Like, they still really pressed me on quite a few things. They were like, this story is still giving my dog ate my homework.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, can we not get into this? Like, can we have a phone call afterwards so I can spill all of the back end tea of this? Because I'm not going to get into an 1.5-hour conversation of how we got here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't make me waste everyone's time. And if you want the lore of this event, to call me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give it to you. But yeah, they approved it. It transfers with the house. Obviously, Ethan and I had put an offer in to buy the house. It just didn't check all of the investors' boxes, which is totally fine. I don't have it in me to like pay what it's worth and have gone through all of the work, you know?
Yeah.
So we do have a couple of interested buyers. We'll see if those buyers end up putting if we move forward with those buyers. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, the property is up and running. We've already got July almost fully booked overnight.
Nice.
Which was great. Which granted, like last year, it was like July we were renting out for like $2,500 a night. This year, July we're renting out for like $1,500 to get it up and rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's booking out quick, which is incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you gonna have to plug into management more now?
This podcast comes out on Wednesday. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like we haven't talked through with the investors on that, but no, Fede's not plugging into it. Obviously, like he wants to step away from the project. And so we have a new management company that's coming in and managing it. So I'm gonna be unplugged. This is like the cherry on top of my petty path mantra that I've been on, where I've just been like, you know what, I'm just going to stay quiet and see if it gets handled. And if they absolutely need me, then let me know. But I'm not the best person for the job. You know, like we worked in some of the management fee where I would be managing it. That was 3 years ago when I was still managing my own properties at that point in time. And so if I were to try and step into management now, like I would be doing everyone a disservice. Like I don't know a thing about price labs anymore. I don't know a thing about any automations. Like I don't have Airbnb on my phone anymore. Like we're so far past that era of our business that if I was managing it, it would be done half-assed. And so we found a management company who ultimately is interested in buying it. They're just not like really, really interested in buying it. You know, they're like, they want to go about it in a safe way where they're like, okay, if nobody else buys it, like let us manage it. Let's see the behind the scenes process of this. And so I had a meeting with them today and they seem really, really great. So we'll see. I mean, she's up and running.
Let them do their job.
Yeah, let them do their job. And now we're one of 2 legal B&Bs in the city of Cadillac, and the other one is a 1-1, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to see what it does going forward. But we got it across the finish line, and that was just insane. It was insane. I can't believe we won that.
Win is a win.
Remember, like in October of last year, we were at the retreat at Rose's place, and I don't remember if you were part of this conversation, but Cassidy's obviously an investor on this, and he was just like, Sarah, there's no hope. Like, we're screwed. Mm-hmm. I was like, y'all say that, but I'm like going for gold.
Yeah.
Like, I'm batting 100. I'm You're about to see the performance of a lifetime.
Oh, you did it.
And I was like, and if I get it, I'm going to have an ego the size of this room.
Great.
And then after it happened, like Ethan mentioned it, he's like, do you feel like you have the ego the size of this room? And I was like, no, I feel so traumatized by this entire experience that it just feels like the bloodiest battle in the world, and all your friends are dead and you're like standing there like, woo, I won.
Yay, I won. I survived.
Yeah, like with all this baggage.
Yeah.
So no, it didn't feel that good. I was just like, literally take me to get some food and take me home. So I can just, but I felt sick the next day. That was one thing that I wasn't expecting, where like the next day I felt like my body just released a lot of the stress, and I was like, do I have the flu? And then I was like, I bet you this is just my body being like holding.
Relax now.
Yeah. So we're at the tail end of it. One way or another, I'm going to either own this project or be done with this project before the end of the year, and I can't wait for that day.
There we go.
We're counting down the minutes.
Nice.
To be just free of it.
That's exciting.
I'm trying to think if there's any other drama in my... Oh, we launched the project that I've been working on for 6 months. Incredible. That was a shit show, getting it up and running, but we made it.
There.
We made it.
We did it.
I'm so excited to see what that project does as well. I think one thing that I did want to mention in this as well is one thing that I did different on this project that we have not done on any project up until this point is I used the best photographer in Michigan.
Oh, yeah. She's fantastic.
She is fantastic. And I've got to say, we should have her on sometime onto the podcast, but holy crap, that experience is so vastly different from working with any other photographer. Like, at the end of the day, she gave me 38 images. That was it, of the entire house. But every image is flawless. It's a work of art. It's perfect. And it just was one of those things where it was like, while she was there, she took 8 hours to shoot 38 photos. And every single photo she'd set up, she'd pull it up on her iPad, and she would literally be having me move the pillows by 1 inch, the curtains, so the pleats were even. The mugs and the cups on the table would be too close together, and it would be like tension, like visual tension in the photo, so I'd have to move them apart slightly. Or like just the little tiny details that she was paying attention to.
Who needs like 80-something photos when you have 38 perfect ones?
She just was so intentional. She was so good. Just everything about him. After that experience, it was just one of those things where it was like Christmas morning. That was the feeling I had all day long, where I was like, we're winning. Like when you work so hard on something for so long, and then that like the wrapping paper that you're putting around it is just like crisp and clean and perfect and flawless. And I just was like, I could cry with the amount of effort and intentionality that she's like putting behind these photos. So shout out to her. What is her name on Instagram? It's like Linnea Photo, and her name is Diana Paulson. But holy crap, talent.
Yeah,
talent.
She did a fantastic job.
Yeah. So we had the investors come and enjoy that property this weekend. I was so nervous because I'm like, they have high standards, right? And they bought the house in cash, and then they gave us $200-something thousand to renovate it. So they were like $700-something thousand into this project. And I gave them nothing. Like, I didn't give them a mood board. I didn't give them a like really solid budget. I upped the budget by like $70,000 halfway through. Like there was just so many reasons why, like, unless you really trust me, and unless you're in a financial situation where $700,000 isn't stressing you out. I just was really nervous. I was like, please love this. Like, please enjoy this. And they had some things that they want different. We got the email this morning from them of just like things that they would want done differently on the next project. And it's like stuff that would have cost more money that I'm happy to do.
Yeah. Happy to spend more.
Yeah, literally say less. I would prefer that. Like,
yeah.
You want nicer, bigger pavers? You want more landscaping? Like, queen, I got you. But they have been an absolute dream to work with. So, so I just want to keep doing it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll take on like 3 or 4 a year of those. Maybe 2. I don't know. That's probably too ambitious. But yeah, it was a good experience all the way around. And I'm excited to see how that property performs because she's gorgeous.
She is gorgeous.
Yeah. So what else are we missing? I feel like there was so much to catch up on. And
since you and I had last had an episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I think our last episode together launched while we were at the retreat. So officially the ticket sales for the fall retreat are out. And a lot of people are coming because it's the last one.
I know, man. Ticket sales are easy peasy lemon squeezy this round. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to come to our last retreat, get your ticket while they last.
Mm-hmm.
Oopsie. We might be.
I know. And I don't know that we can up the ticket number. So.
Yeah. Well, get on it.
Get on it.
Experience your FOMO now. Like, get your
Literally.
ticket. Yeah, that's going to be so fun. I'm so glad that Wayfair is sponsoring it again as well, because they were just an absolute dream to work with the first time around. So thank you, Wayfair Professional. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.
I ally you. Every time I'm on a call with her, I'm like, I love you.
She's great.
I'm literally obsessed with you.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, so last retreat, October, have to come.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
That's it.
Holy cow. Okay, let's end the show with something non-real estate related, because I talked to your sister about this last night. Also, like, if you guys listened to the last podcast with Taylor, I went to her scalp business last night and I got every service.
All of the things.
Literally every add-on, every possible service. I was like, you're going to be with me for the next 5 hours. Like, we're help. And I haven't had my scalp or hair touched in 9 months. You know, low maintenance girly over here, but wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've got to say is wow.
It's life-changing.
Oh,
did you
my
fall
God.
asleep? Because I can't fall asleep during stuff like that, but people do.
I was like the in between asleep and awake, where like I don't think I was twitching yet.
I figured you would be somebody who would fall asleep during that. Yeah. I can't. Tyler did.
Oh yeah, she said that your dad fell asleep as well when she was doing his scalp. She was like, it was so cute. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try and not fall asleep.
My mom and I can't fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Too high strung. Yeah.
Did you have the hydro jelly face mask put on?
Yeah, but I didn't have her put it over like my eyes and mouth.
Oh,
I'm claustrophobic.
I had her put it over. That's why I asked, because literally I had it done and I was like, whoa, like this is staying on for like 5 minutes and I can't open my eyes. I can't open my mouth. Like I'm in this room. Like I can't see a thing. It just was one of those things that I was like kind of into and then also kind of anxious about.
Yeah.
But when she took it off, the feeling so satisfying and my skin was so soft. But I woke up this morning after she like did all of her juju on my scalp. And I mean, all of our listeners probably know that I wear a ball cap 5 out of 7 days a week. And I wear the ball cap to the gym. It's just sweat, ball cap, more sweat, ball cap, like
dry shampoo,
ball cap. And so I just was like so self-conscious, and I hadn't like shower day, like hair wash day was on Thursday, and then she saw me on Sunday. So she was seeing day 3.5 of my scalp after being in a hat for 2 out of those 4 days. And she had good things to say. She was like, wow, this isn't nearly as bad as I was expecting. And I was like, well, it itches. Help.
I know. Mine does too. And it's probably because I wear baseball caps all the time. And so she gave me products to help.
Yeah, it was incredible. But I digress there. Okay, so if you're listening to this and you're in West Michigan, like you have to try her head spa. It was incredible. But I was talking to her. She was like, dandruff is typically caused by something internal, whereas like flakiness is caused by sweat, pH, all the things. She's like, you have flakiness, not dandruff. And she was like, but you're relatively healthy, yada, yada. And I was like, I think maybe I had more dandruff when I was drinking consistently. And she was like, oh, I'm at a year not drinking. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you were not drinking as well. And I was like, okay, so Emily and I are obviously 6 months not drinking. You're at a year. I was like, do you think that you will ever go back to drinking? And she's like, no, not a chance.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't like, maybe if I'm in Mexico and I get a wild hair and I want to take a shot of tequila, sure. She's like, but like casual drinking or like even like fancy occasions at home or anything like that. She's like, no, I just have zero desire to drink. And I was like, man, I am reaching that point. Like Ethan's way there. He's like, never, I'm not touching it again. I'm like, I could be convinced. The right occasion with the right people.
I know you were somewhere recently and I was like, she's for sure going to have a drink. I can't remember where you were.
Probably Mexico wedding.
Yes, that was where I thought you would.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I just kept ordering virgin pina coladas, and everybody thought I was drinking.
Sugar.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, give me the dessert.
That's fine.
Yeah, like I'll
just
save the empty calories.
Cream of coconut.
Literally.
Just drinking that.
Frozen, shredded. It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, so I'd have that. And like when I saw the bride, she was like, oh my God, get yourself a drink. Oh my gosh, you already have one. And I was like, duh.
Down in these puppies.
Sober as a judge.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was fine. But yeah, I don't think Ethan will ever touch alcohol again. Jonathan last night he ordered a skinny margarita at the restaurant.
Such a diva.
Because it's soup and salad season.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm trying to get Jonathan on this podcast and he keeps saying no. He's like, I don't want to be that famous. And it's funny because he's not on any social media. You never see him in any of our photos, but he is like such a main character in our life. It's not even funny.
Yeah. He is in the background of some videos sometimes. And I'm like, his face is in that. He's like your Oz.
Literally.
Like you're supposed to put an emoji over his face.
Literally. Our son is home from boarding school for the summer. Like that's what it feels like. My mom's like, is Jonathan here yet? Or like he was in the background of one of my photos or videos on Instagram and I had like 4 people message me. They're like, oh my God, he's here for the summer. I'm like, as he is every summer.
Every single summer.
He summers in Michigan. But he had a margarita last night because he's so bored with us. Like last year he wasn't drinking all summer and this year he's drinking and we're not. And so I got home from Taylor's head spa and Ethan comes outside to like help me carry something in from the Jeep and he's like, Jonathan's a little toasty inside from a margarita. And I was like, yes. Like finally. But yeah, he's pretty bored with us not drinking at all. But no, not caving.
Me neither.
So we're healthy girls.
Healthy girls, I guess. Ugh,
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Except I'm still chugging energy drinks. I can't give them up. I keep trying. And
Seriously?
I'm just so tired
Yeah.
all the time. And so if I'm out and about, and I just like honestly think coffee everywhere but at home tastes like ass. And so if I'm out, I'm like, I'm getting an energy drink. I'm not getting a coffee.
Dude, I just love coffee out and about so much.
Some places, like Aldea, I'll get coffee. Like I like it there. But there's so many places that are just not.
Mine are so sugary that it's like you put enough sugar in it. And I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a treat.
I want it to taste like coffee.
I know. Ethan's getting really good at making my latte at home. So I'm following behind you there and all of a sudden preferring my at-home coffee versus out and about coffee. But yeah, we've been getting coffee every single day out and about. If you're ever in Grand Haven, just like look at all day and I'm probably there.
It's so convenient.
It's so convenient. And Ethan and Jonathan are there right now and they'll be there for the next 2 hours. Like that's where I'm answering emails from. Your email can find me here.
At Aldea.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So anything else to wrap up with that we're forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting so many things, but
we'll have an episode to film in a week.
So true. That's so true.
Maybe we should start taking notes so we remember things.
Yeah, that'd be smart, Emily.
I just ordered a Wild House paper like notepad thing for a to-do list.
Yeah, I saw it. You spoiled yourself. Well, you said
dude, top tier
treat for me, and then you didn't post what it was.
I did. It was on the next slide.
Oh, well, maybe I was
Thanks
watching
for watching my full story.
Maybe I got the first one, and you were in the middle of posting the second one.
What's so funny is my mom goes, Emily, what was in the box? Like she's sitting next to me. She goes, what was in the box? And I was like, click to the next slide, and she goes, oh. I was like, I'm not leaving you guys hanging. Like it's
Me and
right.
Kelly are on the same
right there.
We're texting you like, can you tell us? We've been on pins and needles all day. Like
Just
it's been
go back
posted
on
for 6
Instagram.
hours.
I posted it immediately after.
I'm so sorry. We're so annoying. Today, last thing I swear, but today, Ethan was like, we're handing off this property to the investor, and he was like, man, he's like, I've put in everything that they need. I've put in the Dropbox, and they keep asking me questions that I've either answered once or twice already. And I was like, oh my God, call Emily and complain about that. I was like, she is queen of being like, I have it stored in 18 places, and yet you guys are too stupid to go
I've given
find
the
it.
links to how many people. No, literally, Taylor has said that a couple times. Not really complaining, but she's like, people keep messaging me asking for my booking link, but it's in my bio. And I was like, Tay, I'm going to start this conversation by just letting you know.
Save it somewhere convenient in your phone.
You're going to need like to get something that's going to automatically send people the link. No matter how many times you give people information, they're going to continue asking for it. And it's just part of it.
Yep.
So you just have to, I'll put it everywhere. Ethan's funny saying that because that one time when he wanted the itinerary for the first retreat and he was like, Emily, you didn't send it to me. I said, oh, really?
Check your email.
I literally pulled up my email. I was being so petty. I literally had to go to the event too. And I was like, hold on. I will get in the car in a second. Pulled it up and I was like, this email? And he goes, yeah, I don't really check that email that often. And I was like, not my problem.
Yeah, you received it.
You got it.
You who says you check your email every 15 minutes, all of them, and get on me every single day.
I know. It's just
Guilty.
a thing. Everybody does it. So,
well, I will say, I mean, in that breath, like I told Taylor last week whenever I saw her that I wanted to book this week for her thing. And I was like, I know I can go on her Instagram and just click the link in her bio and sign up. And then, of course, I don't, right?
Mhm.
As a lazy girl would not.
I told her to send it to you.
Literally, she sent it to me and I was like, this is the nicest service ever.
Yeah. Well, she was like, because I had already sent it to you once.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
I'm sure.
She was like, should I send it to her? And I was like, yes. And she goes, but you already sent it. And I was like, Sarah needs you to send it to her again.
Yeah, I'd prefer you to type in all the information as well and just tell me when to show up.
No, quite literally, I almost booked your appointment for you. But I was like, I can't cross that line because then it's going to become an expectation and I just can't.
I will take advantage.
I know. I was like, I'm not booking it for her. But I also, there's like that intake form. And I was like, Sarah's going to have such a hard time with the intake form.
Literally, I was like, oh my God.
It's so nice because then every time you come, she can like refer back to it.
Yeah, she referred back to it like 6 times in our first session. And I was like, oh, you did need that information.
I know, but I knew you were going to have a hard time with the intake form. I was like, that might stop her from booking the appointment.
Can you call me and verbally ask me these questions?
I knew it.
Typing it in, I'm sweating.
But yeah, she was like, I don't want to be too pushy. I was like, send her the link. She needs it. She's not going to find it herself.
Yeah, literally, like, treat me like I have no hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, treat me like I have special needs.
I know you very well.
I know. It's so funny that you know not to overstep that boundary, though, because the second somebody does it for me, I'm like, and outsourced. Permanently.
I know. I was like, I know that she said that she wants to book on Sunday, so I could just go do it for her. But I probably know the answers to all the questions. I'm not doing it.
Good on you.
I formed a boundary.
Yeah, that's so healthy because I will push that boundary with literally everyone in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we should end on that note before we digress down that rabbit hole.
Oh, literally. We'll take notes and talk about that next time.
Yeah. If you want to wonder why I need a therapy session, that's exactly why.
Yeah.
Why I bother everyone in my life. Okay. Well, thanks for listening as always. And we will see you next time with more of our chaos.
Nonsense.
Yeah. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.